Cause everything is what? Political. Even this makeup I have on my face, yes. Welcome. Hi. First of all, I'm Audra. If you didn't know that already, I do stuff on my channel. So I thought we could go ahead and get started with one of the wildest things I've seen in a long time. Listen, the world is getting wild, and I understand. Take care of yourself. You do not have to be here for this. You don't have to watch all these videos. For those of you who come, I appreciate it. For those of you who can't because you just need to disassociate because everything's going wrong, that's okay too. You know what I mean? Live your life. I have always been political. I think I just sneak it in. And now I'm not sneaking it in. I'm just overtly being political. So if that's not something you're into, I get it. It's okay. And I call it girly pop because I'm girly popping the thing. Look at this look, bitch. Ah. Okay, sorry. Listen, sorry. Am I? No.
Honored to introduce to you Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
He's terrifying.
I'm going to go over some of the key numbers from the ADDM report. Overall, the autism is increasing in prevalence at an alarming rate.
Alarming.
The study tests 8-year-olds who were born in 2014. And by the way, these studies are 2 years later than they should be.
And I just want to say this right quick before he even gets into it. That is how things work. I'm not a scientist, obviously, but neither is he. So, but this is how things work. They come up with something. For instance, back in the day, it was ADD, and it was only tested for boys. And for a very long time, they were just like, it's just boys who have ADD. Then they realized oh no, it manifests in women and girls and women in a different way. And so then they were able to start diagnosing girls with ADD. So girls were able to start getting help and get medicated. It doesn't mean that it increased at an alarming rate. It means they added other people into the study group and were able to go, oh, hey, it's not just this. For the longest time, until recently, it was a childhood issue. It was a childhood disorder. Unfortunately, people like myself and others were like, hi, yeah, no, I'm an adult, and it's actually worse. So I don't know what you want me to do about this, but, and they used to split it up, ADD and ADHD. Now it's just ADHD. That's how science works. Because you don't just find something and then go, the end, right? They don't I don't know why they would do that, but that's not how it works. They keep on, because the only way we can know something and truly understand it and keep moving forward is that they keep studying a thing. You can't just do a study and then be like, oh, we found this answer, we're finished. You're gonna have to keep studying it. If you're seeing the prevalence of autism being seen more, it's because a lot more people are recognizing that their symptoms due to social media are autism. And then they go, because every autistic I know, we all do the same thing. We sit and we study obsessively and then gaslight ourselves and be like, I'm not autistic. And then you go and they're like, actually, surprise, it's autism.
Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise.
I knew when I went to get my ADHD diagnosis, I was aware that what I was really wanting to get done was autism, but I wasn't ready. And so I knew I had ADHD. I got diagnosed. I've held off on the autism because honestly, I knew I was correct. I got diagnosed for the ADHD. It does make it more difficult to have an exit plan because there are places that would see that maybe you would need support that they don't want to provide to you through their country, so you won't be able to go. So it's actually safer for me to just no. So it's not that it's increasing, it's that they know to test for it. Young people are able to get the help that they need before they're adults. That's the point. But what would this old man I need someone to tell me, did he drive around with a whale, a dead whale? I don't know. He's done a lot of wild things, and I understand that he doesn't like to eat animals if it's not roadkill. I'm not sure if that's true, but it seems true. Look at him.
And one of the things that we're going to do as we move this function to the Administration for a Healthy America, to the chronic disease division, the new chronic disease division, is we are going to have updated real-time data so that people can look at this, so Americans can understand what is happening with chronic.
There's no such thing. Like real-time data for illness is actually quite difficult. It's not super easy. It's always going to be behind. I feel like people don't understand time. I don't understand time. If I understood time, I would have been here 2 hours earlier. But like, it's hard to have real-time data at any point in time. Like you can keep trying, but it's difficult to have because you'd have to have everybody reporting. This is honestly like the dumbest administration I've ever seen in my life.
Disease in this country in real time, and I'd have to wait 2 years to react. We don't wait 2 years to react to a measles epidemic, and we should not,
So sorry, did he just say we don't wait 2 years to react to a measles epidemic? You mean the one that's currently happening in Texas right now, where children are quite literally dying? Okay.
Any kind of infectious disease, we shouldn't have to do that for diabetes or autism. The ASD.
I just want to say that autism and diabetes are not the same. I'm sorry I keep pausing, but like they're literally not the same thing. Yeah, autism is not infectious. Sorry to the chat. By watching this stream, you have also gotten autism. I'm so sorry for you. I apologize that I've infected you with my autism through the screen. Like, I hope you're okay. Welcome to obsessing over things that don't really matter to anyone else but you. I'm sorry. You know, enjoy doing 1,000-piece puzzles, I guess.
Prevalence rate in 8-year-olds is now 1 in 31. Shocking. There's an extreme risk for boys. Overall, the risk for boys of getting an autism diagnosis in this country is now 1 in 20.
Where is he getting these numbers from? Of course, Nicole, of course, Michigan has a measles outbreak too. I'm going to have like a theoretical conversation around this as we move forward, why this is happening. It's not just anti-intellectualism. I think that's an easy finger to point, but I do think that there's more to it than that.
And as high in California, which has the best data collection. So it probably also reflects the national trend, 1 in 12.5 boys. This is part of an unrelenting...
Gamer Jam, how do we fix capitalism when political corruption is too profitable for the shareholders? We have to break it and remake it, which is extremely painful, and no one's gonna do it. Is Trump technically doing that? Yes. But did he do it without a parachute, without anything? Also, yes. And that's why it's just destruction. He gets these numbers from the mini cassette player in his throat. Why does he talk like that? Does he have one of those things? Is that just how he talks? I genuinely want to know.
Upward trend. The prevalence 2 years ago was 1 in 36. Since the first ADDM report in 1990, which was 1992 births, autism has increased by a factor of 4.8.
He's acting as if these increases are like because autism itself is increasing and not the science around it. Like, I need people to understand that that's how that works. Like COVID itself, it wasn't like, oh my God, COVID is going nuts. It was literally like, we didn't really know because our government wouldn't tell us, which they're continuing to do. We didn't really know. And as the cases started to come up, the science around what COVID was got better. And then they started to recognize that this thing that people had was COVID. And like, yes, it did end up spreading, but a non-communicable disease like, it doesn't just show up. There's been those memes where it's like,
back in my day, nobody had autism. Do not touch that. That is my wall of very special plates that are pretty and not to be used. You may look at them. Hello, Shirley. Yes, I'd like to make my weekly hair appointment for the same haircut I've had for the last 50 years. Ugh. I'm in a terrible mood. Why? Everything is just so bright and so loud. What do you mean you want to go out for dinner tonight? It's a Tuesday. We only go out for dinner on Saturdays. Now be quiet and eat your unseasoned potatoes that only have salt on them. Okay, grandchild, I'm gonna teach you a way to do something. It's the right way, and if I ever see you do it any other way ever again, I'm going to be very angry at you, because the way that I'm teaching you is the correct way to do it and is objectively better than any other way.
Capitalists want you to believe that you're in competition with immigrants for limited resources, but at the same time, billionaires hoarding trillions of dollars worth of resources doesn't harm you at all because it's not a zero-sum game. Something doesn't add up. You are correct. Here's my thing. I think there are a lot of people who are anarchists, and I've never been an anarchist. And the reason I haven't is because of what is happening right now. Like, this is what anarchy looks like to me. There's no structure. People don't know what's happening. People don't know how to like live their lives. Everything's just moving around. Anarchy isn't what I want to live in. I've watched most of the Mad Maxes. That's not the life that I want to live. If y'all want to, cool. But like literally, as soon as this thing starts like really coming off the rails, I'm leaving. Take that how you will, but because I need warm running water. Like, I am too autistic to fight in the dirt revolution. I can't do it. I need toilet paper. I have to have a daily shower. It's how I regulate my system. These are things I require. But the problem with a lot of these people is that, especially in America, really people have this idea that they can work their way up. And a lot of that is because there's propaganda around people working their way up, right? Like, if you really think about it, even in bands, like, listen, I'm a media nerd, but if you really think about it, actors, bands, whatnot, they will have you believe that like a band like Maroon 5 blew up, or unfortunately Kid Rock, but they had money the entire time. Even on YouTube, there's tons of creators who their secret ingredient was money. Like, I'm not saying that like they blew up just because they had money, but because they had money, they were able to start well, right? So like, if you already come from money, you have someone who can help you. You can probably have someone that you're going to pay to edit videos, all of that kind of stuff. You're already miles ahead of someone like me who's just like, okay, I'm going to start doing content. I'm going to have to build and work my way up to even being able to get a good camera, get a good mic, get a good setup, get a good PC. They can just start with that. And so we get told these stories over and over again, these like false, fake stories of people who came from nothing and got something and they're rich now or whatever. But we don't really know, a lot of us don't, the propaganda around it. And if you watch any of those shows like The View or American Idol, you will see this live and in action, the way they will very consistently give these contestants like this sob backstory every single time, whether it's like amped up or not, I don't know, but they will always give them this like rags to riches backstory so that you can feel like you too could make it. The administration has a fake COVID website up, or should I say yeah, it's getting wild. It's very sad that we're like in this place now where people don't want actual facts. And it's like we all have the same access to Google. Like, you don't have to go to the card catalog. I had to do that like a very long time ago, and I don't remember how it works. And if I'm going to be real honest with you, I didn't know how it worked when I was using it.
It's 480%, I believe. The first ADDM survey was 22 years ago, when prevalence was 1 in 150 children. In all the core states, the trend is consistently upward, and most cases now are severe. So about 25% of the kids who are diagnosed with autism are nonverbal, non-toilet trained, and have other stereotypical features, head banging, tactile and light sensitivities.
I also have light sensitivities. A large majority of us STEM in general. ADHD people STEM. My current STEM right now is bacon pancakes, bacon pancakes, bacon pancakes, bacon pancakes, bacon pancakes, bacon pancakes, bacon pancakes.
Okay. Bacon pancakes, making bacon pancakes, bacon pancakes, making bacon pancakes.
Because I wanted to show the fam, the parrot, who does that. And now I'm stuck doing it. Like, I was literally in my mail truck yesterday delivering packages, going up to the door, bacon pancakes, bacon pancakes, beep, bacon pancakes, bacon pancakes. This speech is horrible.
toe walking, etc.
Those are not severe symptoms. Toe walking, dimming, those aren't severe symptoms.
One of the things that I think that we need to move away from today is
science.
Is this ideology that the autism diagnosis, that the autism prevalence increases, the relentless increases, are simply artifacts of better diagnoses, better recognition, or changing diagnostic criteria. If you look at Table 3 of the ADDM report, it's clear that the rates are real, that they are.
But they should change. He makes me furious.
Flames on the side of my face.
Again, that is how science is supposed to work. The reason that we were able to damn near eradicate people just getting AIDS, like before it was like you got HIV, then AIDS, you were dead, right? Like that was the thing. It was terrifying. We watched Pedro on Real World just talk to us about this and explain and go through all of this stuff, and he died. People who are old like me saw that. It was heartbreaking. And now, because science exists and we utilize science, they have been able to damn near push down that death rate to where people just live with HIV and are able to not pass it on. The same thing with herpes. Like, we're getting to points, except we do have some problems with herpes coming up right now, and that might be for another day. But that's the thing. They keep working on something and keep working on something and keep working on it to get it to a point where they're not stressing out that someone's dying of this every second or every minute or every 5 minutes. That's how it works. That's what science is supposed to do. Science is not supposed to just identify a problem and then be like, there it is. And then like, that's the end. The diagnostic criteria should expand because the OG for autism did not include women at all. It was just boys. And then they also expand it to go, well, there's going to be different levels of support for people. There's going to be high support that you're going to need for someone or low support. And that's even iffy sometimes, because even though there's a level for me of like, I would put myself more at medium support. It's one of the reasons why I made some very executive choices to be like, I should not live by myself. I'm not taking care of myself. I don't eat enough. When my depression kicks in, I will just put it this way. There are people here, and I'm aware that if they woke up and I did not wake up, they would be upset. And that's what keeps me, so I eat well, I take care of myself. Yeah, Kat, the function of science is to learn and understand the universe and everything in it. And science knows it'll never figure everything out, so it has to keep looking. Exactly that. That is the literal point. You don't just identify a problem and then be like, that's it. Because if they do that, then especially when we're talking about autism, then you eliminated women, and not just boys, but it was white boys. So people of the global majority were not even being considered as having autism. And it's why right now, I'm not sure about any other global majority folks because I don't know y'all's experience, but a lot of Black people have to regularly live with the experience of their parents just being like, that's white people shit. And you're like, okay, I guess I will suffer in silence. But we're trying to get past that. That's the good part about doing this, is that you start recognizing that it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you, because there's nothing wrong with me. I'm exactly how it was intended to be.
Increasing in the last 10 years, which is the beginning with the first one, year by year, there is a steady, relentless increase. I want to, because this epidemic denial has become a feature in the mainstream media, and it's based on an industry canard.
Does he not know he is the mainstream media? You are the mainstream media. This is why I can't take Trumplicans seriously, because they'll be like, the mainstream. I'm like, you are literally watching mainstream media. Stop it. Science is theory, always evolving, unlike these folks devolving. Right. We're not going to watch this whole thing. I'm trying to get to a very particular point in this.
There was another exhaustive study, a peer-reviewed study in this to this ideology of epidemic denial.
And he keeps calling it an epidemic.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
He's going through this whole thing talking about it like an epidemic. AIDS was an epidemic. That was an epidemic.
This is added to already astronomical healthcare costs. And then,
And why are healthcare costs so astronomical? Is it because the rich don't care? It's really weird that we live in a country that is supposed to be so wealthy and just we don't give a shit about supporting people. And this is why I hate these people, because they will do this. Yes, hate, strong word, I know, but I do. Because when you're really looking at it, it's like the things that you're complaining about could be solved by having universal health care. Like there's no reason that at this point we should have so many adults having to get diagnosed with autism. Like they've just been living their entire lives being like, I feel like an alien. I don't know why I'm having such difficulty living my life. Why is it so hard? Like, I don't know why it's so hard. You're looking around at other people and you're asking them questions. They're like, what do you mean? You're like, never mind. Just me over here. You know, you're like, how do you do laundry like that? And they're just looking at you like you have a problem. You're like, no, I mean like, okay. So what I'm saying is I wash the clothes, okay? Usually I put them in the dryer. How do you put them away? How are you doing that? Do you do it right after you get it out of the dryer? If so, what kind of discipline you have to do such a thing? It's so weird how they make up fake epidemics all the while denying a real pandemic that's been going on for the last 5 years. Yes, because again, I need y'all to know, like, you're not getting summer colds. It's not just allergies as much anymore. Like sometimes it is, obviously, but it's like, it's COVID. We're still dealing with it. People are still dying from it. Like it's not, it didn't just like magically disappear because they declared it no longer a problem. Like it still exists and people are still having to deal with it. And now because we couldn't have an administration that was like, everybody stay the fucking side so we can just eradicate this thing, contain it. Now it just keeps evolving. So even when you're getting your COVID booster shots, you don't even know anymore if you're going to be able to like be boosted against whatever the hell else it's evolved into. It's getting more and more to be like the common cold is my understanding, which is why the common cold is so dangerous, is because it just like keeps evolving from host to host. And we have a lot of difficulties. We can't give you anything for it because it changes so fast.
and there's an individual. If these are kids, this is a preventable disease. We know it's an environmental exposure.
No, we don't.
It has to be. Genes do not cause epidemics.
I'm gonna scream. Why would he say such a thing? Man's literally said, genes do not cause epidemics. Well, I mean, you exist, so genes are what brought us whatever it is you are. I don't know if it's, but no, it doesn't have to be caused by outside factors. It's been there. This is the wildest thing. I don't know what to do. And this is why we need age limits. Listen, I'm an ageist. Like, I genuinely have begun to think that, like, political office to be held by people between the ages of 28 and 52. That's it. That's all. Because that's the only way we can move society forward at this point. You can't have people who've been around since Jim Crow days actually like legislating anything. Listen, that's it. That's 28 to 52. And then after that, like, get out of politics, because you need the youth to like be able to tell you like, no, this is what we are actually interested in and how we want our lives to go. And then you need like the knowledge of, you know, getting older. And then we don't need you in your retirement stage. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I think a lot of us just generally as people start to stagnate in our thinking. Not all, not me. I'm not 62, am I? It is my birthday month.
It can provide a vulnerability. You need an environmental toxin. And Hertz Pachoda.
But like, y'all are wanting to pillage the earth for everything. So if it is an environmental toxin, according to your non-scientific ass, then y'all caused it. I don't know what to say. Like, y'all are very drill baby drill. Cut down the forest. Like, what do you mean? So if it is some weird ass toxin, then y'all did it. Correct, Stephen. He is saying that autism is caused by the environment. That'd be nice. But no. Because we've had like people who actually have degrees, PhDs, if you will, figure this out and understand genes and genetics. It's like twins, like your great grandfather could have been a twin. And then it skips multiple generations, you know? There's no rhyme or reason to it. Sometimes every generation gets twins, and sometimes it skips some. Autism and ADHD, not so much. And what's really happening is a lot of parents of autistic children or children who have ADHD are recognizing, like parents who have empathy and care and love their children and aren't trying to autism speaks them and put them in weird ass therapies. These parents are going, wait a minute. Oh, wow. So that means, and they're waking up to the reality that like, it's them. They have it. And again, because we have been presented through media, because I'm always going to find a way to throw media in, but through media, movies, television shows, and whatnot, we have been presented one form of what autism looks like, right? Like Rain Man was a lot of our first, if you're my age, experience with what autism should look like.
1949 Buick Roadmaster, straight 8, Fireball 8, only 8,095 production models.
So like finding people who are autistic who can have conversations with you, who do make eye contact. Like, I mean, I'm not going to do it for a prolonged period of time. That's weird. Why am I staring into your soul? I don't like to touch. You know what I mean? And when I'm asking for a hug, like I definitely need human contact at that point. You know, sometimes I do need human contact on, like, we need to hug and touch each other. And then I'm like, okay, that's enough. Stop touching me. Everybody stop touching me. I'm pretty sure he's reading a Mad Libs instead of scientific journals. Listen, I would not be surprised if he was literally looking at green eggs and ham while reading this.
Pointed out that because of this mythology, that the amount of money and resources put into studying genetic causes, which is a dead end, has been historically 10 to 20 times the amount spent by NIH and other agencies to study environmental factors, to study exposures, to study external factors, and that's where we're going to find the answer. This is an individual tragedy as well. Autism destroys families. More importantly, it destroys our greatest resource, which are our children.
I would just like you to know that the moment I realized that I was autistic, my entire family blew up. Everything went sideways. My mom grew additional toes. My aunties now have extra ears. It really is a tragedy. It's a tragedy what's happened to my family. Just, I don't know what to tell you.
These are children who should not be suffering like this.
Suffering?
These are kids who, many of them were fully functional and regressed because of some environmental exposure into autism when they're 2 years old. And these are kids who will never pay taxes. They'll never hold a job. They'll never play baseball. They'll never write a poem. They'll never go out on a date. Many of them will never use a toilet unassisted. And we have to
I just need to know, obviously aside from Elon Musk, what autistic people he has met. I just want to know. I'm celebrating a birthday. I do, in fact, use the toilet unassisted, unless you count the fact that Bo Bear, my dog, does burst into the bathroom and try to help me through an emotional support poop. We hold jobs, even though it is destructive to us because we literally live in a world that does not care about us. It is not just us, it's anybody with a disability. They hate disabled people and will not accommodate us. And if they can find a way to just like not accommodate you, they're going to. Even if we have all of this stuff, they're gonna find a way to like not accommodate you. Also, a lot of parents, yeah, he's talking about it like it's the Black Plague. Like literally just like they can't use the toilet, they can't play baseball. I'm so sorry, but autists with their special interest as baseball beg to differ. Autistic kids can't breathe on their own. They are attached to machines. All I can do is laugh because I genuinely don't know how to respond to someone saying something so insane. Like it's like absolutely one of the most insane things I've literally ever heard. Like they can't hold down jobs, they can't play baseball, they can't use the toilet unassisted. And like I am surrounded by autistic people, and as far as I'm aware, we are all using the bathroom by ourselves. Unassisted potty gang, rise up. Like, and that's the thing, it's an attack on people with disabilities. Because while there are people who do, in fact, have high support needs, and we do care about them, we're all disabled. And that's the issue that we're running into in trying to discuss the support needs, because we don't want to feel like, oh, I'm better than you, because like you're not better than anybody. But we also do have to be realistic in that, like, I currently can do a lot myself. However, I'm going to be real with you that there are times where it feels like I can't do anything. I just get completely overwhelmed and I want to lay down. They're conflating things and they're putting everything into this position where it feels like autistic people are having to feel like myself, to be like, no, I can do stuff, right? There are people who have high support needs. But like, again, we have to remember that this is the same party who wouldn't let somebody who was in a coma just pass on. What do they want to happen? Do they just want to eliminate us? Because like, I gotta be real with you, with the way things are going. I know that's a dark thought, but I'm ready to go. But like, if that's the goal, everybody doesn't feel like I do, but I'm just really, really tired. I'm exhausted. But like, if that's the goal, I mean, can we just have Autist Island? Like, could we just go somewhere else where we would actually have true justice? Because here's my theory. My theory on how we've gotten here, because of the fact, very specifically in the US, I can't speak for anywhere else because I don't live there, but we've gotten here because healthcare is very difficult for us to come by. Like, let's be very real in that. In America, for anybody who's not familiar, your healthcare is tied to your job. How good or bad it is depends on how much that your job pays for you to get healthcare. And then on top of that, you have to be able to have time to take to go see a healthcare professional, which a lot of us don't have. And then they're also in a lot of jobs trying to convince you never to use your sick time, because when you retire, which is looking increasingly less like we can do that, they will pay out your sick time, which I need y'all, if you believe that, if you're doing that, like, take your sick time, please stop it. No one's gonna care that you worked at a company for 20 years and never used one sick day. Good on you. Thank you for getting the rest of everybody else ill. So everybody else had to use their sick time when you could have just stayed your goofy ass home. That being said, I think that we got here because of that. Our healthcare system is so bad. And if you do not have health insurance, it's very difficult to see a healthcare provider. It's very difficult to see a doctor. It's very difficult to do all of that. And what rises up in the midst of all of that is fake science. All of these healthy, crunchy granola things. And here's the thing, I do believe in, alternative medicine, right? I don't have anything against it when it's applicable, when it makes sense, something that's tried and true and has done this thing. And you will see actual doctors be like, oh yeah, this does help for that. Oh yeah, this does help for that. But when you can't access medication, you become more and more susceptible to alternative medication. And then once you get more and more susceptible to that, it's easy to turn your backs. On top of all of that, because our healthcare system is mostly for profit, we've also watched that things that should not have been pushed through and approved that actually harm us, see fen-phen, see Olean, we're just pushed through for monetary reasons, right? So you're watching a healthcare system that is for profit that you can't really access to get the help that you need. And then on top of that, you also see things that came through that harmed people. And then every time you turn around, there's a lawsuit against another one of these companies for how this drug performs, right? So now you have this confluence of events where people don't trust the science anymore, because it does very much feel like it's just, who cares as long as we're getting paid, and you can't access it. So now you're moving to alternative medicine, and it gets easier and easier to just kind of stay on that side of things, because this is something you can afford and you can get it without seeing a doctor. Right? You can get a lot of the alternative medications without seeing one doctor. You can just go in, find the vitamins or whatever that you think are going to work, and you take those without really even knowing how that works. Don't just be taking iron, by the way. You can stop yourself up, or it could go the other way. This is why you have to see a doctor before you just start taking stuff. That's why I say it's not just anti-intellectualism, because I think that is the easy way to go. It's also access. And once that access gets lost, you start trying to find ways to be able to afford care. How are the blue pills covered but women's health is stripped away? Because we are just baby making machines. That's it. We just make babies. That's all we do. We make babies. We make babies whether we want to or not. and we have kids. Most people have seen that with George Carlin. If you're preborn, you're good, but if you're born, you're fucked. And that's the problem that we have very regularly. We want to care so much, or I personally don't believe that life begins at conception, because if that were true, you could just like pop that thing out and it would survive on its own. It doesn't. So that to me is not life. That's me. Everybody can have whatever they want to believe, but your beliefs should not infringe on my ability to take care of my body. And it's why, like, very, very early in life, I didn't understand why people were so upset about gay people. I was just like, what does that have to do with anything? And they're like, well, they're gay. And I'm like, okay, did that change my taxes? Does that mean I can't eat the food I wanted? And the same thing's happening now. They're like, trans people. And I'm just like, okay. So does trans people existing have anything to do with me getting a fair wage? No. Okay. Does it bother me at all in any way? No. Okay. So I'm just going to live in my house, and then my trans neighbor is going to come out and they're going to go, hi. I'm going to go, hi. And that's it. Let people exist. Let people exist. So it's just, I can't fathom being a Trumplican. You know, I can't fathom it, because like you're existing in this weird hate bubble. July 2024, his nephew wrote, those people, Donald said, trailing off, the shape they're in, all the expenses, maybe those kind of people should just die. And I can't fathom living in a world where that's what we're going to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just wild behavior, because the thing is, it doesn't help anything. And this is why they like to say, like, people who are disabled are a drain on the resources of a nation. But have you ever considered that the only reason that they would potentially, in your eyes, be a drain on resources is because you won't provide resources for them to move forward so that they can, right? Like, work from home is very helpful for a lot of people who are autistic, because they can have an environment that is comfortable for them to work in. So maybe instead of them having to work customer front facing, for those who cannot handle that, they can do something else behind the scenes that is helpful, and you can pay them money, and then they're paying into the system. I know it's just a wild thought to have. Yeah, abortion illegal, but as soon as a baby is born to a lower class to them, it is a plague on humanity and not productive for capitalism. Not only that, but they want to snatch up your baby. The amount of money spent from CPS when you could just use that money to help them. Things like truancy, kids being home alone, apparently now that's a bad thing. And I'm not saying it's not, just because I grew up one of them kids who, like, once you got home from school, you had to lock the door, answer the door for nobody, answer the phone for no one, which again is why I would call my mom. Oh my God, Mom, so-and-so did this, and then they shot her. And then she's like, who got shot? I'm like, so-and-so on General Hospital. Girl, don't you be calling me about no General Hospital. Well, I didn't have any friends to hang out with, Mom. I'm in the house by myself.